In this video, I'll be going over how I helped my client Daniel go from 7 to 40K in his credit and funding business in less than 60 days without having to make more content or spend more on the current ad spend he's spending. As you can see here with this screenshot, he was able to go and collect 43,860 in the last month working with me and my team. Not only did we help him collect 40 grand in 1 month, we also helped him increase his average ticket size almost 2 to 3 times whatever his pricing was prior to working with us. So the question is, how are we able to do that without changing his product and charge more and upfront the same product other people sell in the credit and funding space? So the first thing we need to go over is a general idea of the market sentiment for your product you're selling. The credit, repair, and funding space is very solution aware. If you have bad credit, if you want funding, you get hit by thousands of ads talking about 5-day removals and 50 grand and 0% interest in 2 days, right? They've all heard a similar pitch for similar product or model that you provide. So what that leads to is some skepticism in the sales pitch, some sales resistance in the pitch, and also it introduces a concept of low price elasticity. So if you don't know what that means, essentially what that is, let's say there's 5 people selling a similar product or the same product. One person's price is 100, another person's price is 200, another person's price is 150, and your price is 1,000. When the consumer looks at the options, if you guys are all saying the same thing with a similar messaging, similar delivery, a similar product, your offer sticks out in a negative way, because if you're not adding any more perceived value to that client or for what they perceive as value, your price is outlandish and it's not a considerable option when they're out in the market looking for a solution to their problem. So with credit repair funding, the price range is anywhere from a couple $100 to maybe, if you have a personal brand, 1,000 or 2,000, depending upon how big of a following you are and if you're doing maybe some other things, right? But most of the time you're competing on price with your consumers as opposed to the value you're providing. So what might happen is you're stuck selling something for $200, $300, $400. That client isn't really worth your time or what you're managing, what you're doing with them, or how you're working with them to be paying you $300, $400, right? And you're also 1 in a million. So not only is you already don't have a lot of price elasticity, you're not even giving yourself a leg to stand on, because someone else is just going to say, hey, he charges 200, I'm going to charge 180. They charge 180, I'm going to charge 100. It's just a race to the bottom type of industry, to where you have to rely on a lot of volume and, low profit on each unit. So again, you're kind of stuck in the same spot. And another thing, once the prospect realizes what you're selling, it's a lot harder to create a sales argument for why you're better than someone else. So let's say that you and Tom are both credit repair owners, and you guys we're both saying the same stuff. 4-day removal, results in 30 days, XYZ, I'll get you funded after. Once you start getting into things they've already heard, the consumer's gonna put you in a bucket. And that bucket is, hey, I have a poor experience with this. My cousin had a poor experience with this. I see you guys all the time. You're all saying the same thing. No matter what you tell me on this call is in their head. I'm not telling you this, but in their head, no matter what you're saying on the call, I don't care what you're saying. I'm putting you in a category already of things that do not work, or solutions that I've already heard in the past that either didn't work for me or someone else I know. So you can try to reframe me and do all that stuff, do all the sales types, but it's not going to work, because my preconceived notion in my head is that this won't work. And either you can't solve my problem, or someone else on the market can solve my problem for a cheaper price. So that's like the hamster wheel you're on when you're selling credit repair, without the things that we do on our side. So if you're in this boat, you definitely are aware of this, especially with your clients. You do provide them results, and they're not even saying thank you. This is like, this is very, what you have to deliver in this industry is very high, in opposed to the praise you get for delivering the product. They already think it's not going to work. So how do we adjust to this market sentiment? So we implement something called a unique mechanism. If you're not familiar with marketing, unique mechanism, essentially, and for layman's terms, a fake name or a different name for your product that is something that the market has not heard before. Or if it is the same product, a feature you're adding, something that's different, something that's unique in your ad or your front end copy that piques the prospect or the viewer's interest and puts you in a separate category. Maybe not a full separate category, but something that is like, oh, okay, what's this? That's all you need. All you need is a curious ear in your ads for you to start be able to build a full picture of what your thing is. So what you want to do in that messaging, if you're writing your own copy, writing your own ads, you want to use copy and offer positioning that builds a gap between your offer and the offer that they've already perceived as, the standard. So for our example, we use things like funding optimization, credit optimization. There's like 1,000 words. You can use AI to kind of find a match, keyword, and then, something that accelerate or anything. It can be anything. Now under that, you do need an actual mechanism that you are doing that's different. So if you're really good at repair, pick something. Hey, we attack secondary bureaus. Hey, we have an insider rep. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. And that's the thing you have to understand. As long as your product works and you deliver a service, how you market it and how you get the client to give you a fresh slate and not use their preconceived notions, that's something different. Doesn't have to be like outlandish, but something that they have not heard before, something that makes sense, right? What that does is once you position correctly, stick to a unique mechanism, and differentiate your offer, you take away any other options that prospect has already had. You create your own price elasticity. So let me touch on the first point there. So any person that's coming into your ecosystem, they have heard whatever you're talking about before. They're on Instagram, they're scrolling, they're going on Facebook, whatever the case might be. They have heard a solution before. Make sure I'm still recording. So since they've heard that solution before, they have probably like 4 or 5 other guys saved, or 4 or 5 other book calls they booked just to kind of see what's out there. So same thing with your front end positioning and your sales conversation. If you're saying the same things as everyone else, you got 4 other options. I'm going to talk to all 4 of my other options before I choose, right? So that's going to create some just not urgency on your call. Once you have positioned correctly and stuck to a unique mechanism and have allowed yourself to be different to the market, what that does is it says, oh, well, maybe those 4 other options I was going to talk to today or tomorrow, right? They're not as good as the option that's right in front of me. All you're trying to do is position yourself away from your competition in a way that shows that you are the best option or best and only option, as in the best case, the best and only option for their specific situation and pain point. Once you have all that set up, that should all, of course, be infused into your ad, your landing page, your VSL, all that stuff, your post booking, your nurturing, all that good stuff. So that's like the foundational thing that you kind of have to realize with this industry. And now for us, how are we able to get an average blended $7.76 cost per call for credit and funding calls that convert while maintaining the healthy KPIs you see there at 70% show and a 35% close rate? Now, that might sound extremely foreign to you and maybe like bullshit. Here's the deal. The demand and intent for credit is extremely high, right? You don't have to say anything different to get someone opt into your form, right? What we do is we use that to our advantage and reduce that friction on the front end. So kind of like a wider top of funnel. When you have an offer with a high demand, when you offer a market that has high demand, a unique messaging that they have not heard before, you stick out. So again, kind of how I was saying prior, this curiosity helps break that preconceived notion. And since there's so much interest, you can have a better response rate or, back end. All your numbers on the back end are a lot better because there's just so much more volume coming through or so much more interest since you have provided something that's unique to them. So you can kind of, the typical way you do it is high upfront disqualification, and then, you're weeding out through the bottom. You can kind of reverse it and do all the work on the back end. But each time you are adding something, it's your unique mechanism. So instead of your top of funnel and middle bottom, it's just disqualifying. You have a smaller pool of people. You kind of leave it wide, but each layer, each nurture, each text message, each whatever the case is sprinkling more of your unique mechanism copy into their brain. And by the time they're on the call, they're like, okay, this is some shit I haven't heard before. This is totally different. And I want your option because you just sent me, 30 text messages, emails, post booking, a personalized video, to them all the things you should be doing. If you're not doing, we do those for you. But if you have a very good back-end selling system, all that should just be indoctrinating them with your unique mechanism, right? So again, by the time they show up, they're ready and you're different, which gives you an opportunity, especially again, if you're front end, your back end, and then your sales, your actual, your script, or your workflow is all saying the same thing. Instead of them showing up to the phone call with no, with that preconceived notion in their heart, they're allowing you an opportunity for like a clean pitch. When you can create your own, you can create everything you want. You can create anything you want on that phone call because they're giving you a clean ear, right? Again, same thing. You're getting window shopper leads right now because they're all, you're doing the same thing everyone else is doing. This again helps you have that authority messaging, basically brainwashes people into believing that your offer is the best offer, it's the only offer for them. Now let's get into those back-end selling systems that I mentioned previously. Everything starts with our CRM here. So when a prospect books in from a call from one of our ads, they fill out a form. On that form, we're asking them those qualifying questions: revenue, cash flow, use of funds, investment power, current score, things like that. All of those things are saved at a contact level. After we finish the call to each prospect, we enrich that contact data with how well the call went, how much they closed for, things of that nature. If it was a 1 call close, if it was expensive, it was a 2, 3, 4 call close, all that is saved at a contact level. Now, let's say we have 20 calls and we got 5 closes paid in full for our upfront fee. On that first call, now that's the ideal client we want to keep attracting. We want to feed that back to Facebook. So what we do is combine those 5 ideal clients and analyze all the stuff on the form. We're trying to pull out information. What's the trends? What's the average revenue? Is the industry similar? Do all the same use of funds? Once we have that all kind of segmented out, we create that group of ideal clients, and that's where the magic happens. We use Zapier to go ahead and send that information back over to Facebook, and we kind of get a holistic profile of the kind of person that we want to target. And since Facebook needs as much data as possible, we have an internal stack that extracts all the information: IP address, UTM parameters, emails, phone numbers, everything like that, device they use, right? With this data, we can use something called Conversions API to integrate that and attach that to the event that Facebook is optimizing for. All that to say, once you start getting data in from your front end to your back end to all their full sales cycle, you can start feeding Facebook back that information to find the most qualified person in real time. And once it's doing well, you're able to scale that spend, and you're still going to be able to have a relatively similar person on that phone call. Even the more, usually it's the opposite. The more you spend, the lower your ROI goes. In our industry, the more you spend, better ROI gets because you're using that extremely dialed in tracking, as opposed to maybe what you're using now with a DM funnel or with a send me DM for this XYZ thing. Again, it's great for high volume, but with this offer, you got to be very specific, and all you're going to do is spend more money to have more conversations. You might as well spend it on a actual system that's going to be giving you, you're not going to be gambling your money away. Get the right person on the phone every single time without trying, right? Again, this is a very detailed overview of it. It's a lot more complex than this. At the end of that, all right, we're going to, when all these things, your front end, your back end sales systems are all set up, the biggest thing you're probably struggling with right now is that you're still doing repair yourself, you're talking to your clients yourself, you're responding to all their stupid text messages all the time. You're still fully invested in the client side of the again, like you are the business, or if you step away, the business dies, right? So here's how we solve that. We have a team of over 45 VAs that we've compiled over, trained and everything like that to help you remove yourself out of the full system and allow this fulfillment to take fulfillment over for you. This is 3 parts. This is a 3-part system. We have our people, our process, and our visibility. Our people, again, is our trained VA staff. Our process, our standardized SOP, A to Z from onboarding to client results, and that unique visibility for you specifically, showing the dashboards, every client round, turnaround time, results, everything like that. Everything's automated with our team. So as soon as they complete a client, we get that automatically sent like a Slack channel or a Discord channel, whatever we choose. We have a base team and our managerial team of managerial VAs. So once that's assigned, And so when it's submitted, they review it before it goes out to kind of for quality control. And at the end, we have a process that makes sure that your clients are always in the loop about everything. So every 30 days submission, or they get that 30-day report that is sent to them directly, phone and email. And in between that, we have developed an AI chatbot that takes all the customer service and all the questions about what they ask, because you can probably resonate with me on this, where you're getting questions about everything under the sun, every piece of mail, my score went up 5 points, what now? Everything that can happen in the process, they will text you about it and they will ask you about it. So instead of sitting here texting people all day, we have fed an AI chatbot all the generalized questions that you usually get for this type of thing, that has worked well enough to have satisfied, customer response rates, and they understand what's going on, fully trained. We implement that into your business as well, to really just take you fully out of the picture, to where you're only focusing on the highest level activities in your business. And again, with that fulfillment, we're able to again get these excellent results without you changing, pretty much anything about day to day. We take everything off of your plate as far as the client side and the management. The only thing that you'd have to do is send them that onboarding form we would send you. We get all the information, and you completely wipe your hands of the client fulfillment, and we do everything else necessary for that client. Now, as far as the funding, we also can handle that for you as well. We have bank representatives and online lenders. We have revenue-based lenders that can do MCAs, SBA, lines of credit, loans, short-term, long-term, bridge, real estate, all that good stuff. So we can do the full funding, as well as the repair, fully outsourced sales, marketing. So you are quite literally removed from almost each of the largest parts of your business, and give you that time freedom, able to scale up to those higher revenue numbers that you want. Again, this system is currently managing over 200 clients a month from other credit repair and funding agencies that have worked with us. Again, this is something that you are interested in. There will be a link in the description to go ahead and book a call with me and my team, and we'll be able to help you lay out a game plan and a blueprint to implement this system into your business.